In this lesson, we'll learn how to create expressions with Xpresso. Xpresso is one of the expression editors in Cinema 4D, considered a node-based approach to creating expressions. So this is perfect for artists who don't want to get into coding but still want to use expressions to automate animation or any type of other functionality they are required to create. To get started, simply want to first select our ship and create the Xpresso tag. So that's going to be tags, Cinema 4D tags. And right at the bottom, we'll find Xpresso. So here's our work area. The X manager is basically the nodes that are used in our expression. Then we have the X pool that holds nodes that we're able to use in our expression. Going back to the X manager, under the X group, this is basically a container for our expressions. All right, so to have the ship fly forward in time, that's going to be our task, and we'll also have it spin in the bank axis, also in time. What we'll first need to do is go ahead and take our ship and add it to our X manager. Now we'll find a blue area and the red area. The blue area is our input port, the red our output port. So if we want the ship to be driven by time, we're going to need to connect the time port into the input of our ship. But if we like our ship to control another node, we'd want to use this red area. So we'll become familiar with that. Let's go ahead and right click and create a new node, and it's going to be a time node that we'll use. So under general, we'll choose time. What I'm going to go ahead and do from here is right click on the time port and delete it. We're going to work with a real-time port so we can have the ship move based off of our project settings, which right now is set to 30 frames per second. So I'm going to go ahead and now click in this red area and choose real. Going to the blue area of our ship, let's go ahead and now define what axis will be controlled by time. So the first one is going to be our position Z. We'll go to coordinates, position, and choose Z. Now if we were to go ahead and take real and connect that into our position Z port, we'll find that we're going to get a little bit of movement, but barely any. See, the ship is hardly moving. But we know that it's moving. If we were to look at our coordinates manager, we can see that the value has changed. So let's have the ship move a little bit faster. What we'll now do is go ahead and break this wiring. We saw how to do that by either right-clicking and choosing Remove Wires, or simply click on the wire. Now we'll go ahead and create an in-between node that is going to cause the ship to move a little bit faster, and that node is going to be a math node. So I'll go ahead and right-click and choose New Node, Xpresso, that is. Calculate, and we'll go ahead and find the math node. Alright, let's go ahead and examine this. If we were to look underneath our attributes manager, have a data type. Okay, then we have the function. The data type is basically how this ship is going to be controlled. Right now it's set to real. So this is going to give us a more smoother result as the ship follows in time. The ship is driven by our time node. The function, this is where we can set the operation. So I'm going to go ahead and have this set to multiply. And what I'll do is I'll take the real time and plug that into the first input. Notice that's going to remove that input from our parameter list, because it's of course being driven by another port. But now what we could do is define the intensity of the animation by using our second input port. So let's say we go ahead and set this to about a value of negative 500. The reason why we're using negative is you can see when we have our ship selected, the Z-axis is pointed behind the ship. So if we were to use positive, the ship would move backwards. So we'll simply use negative to have the ship move forward. Now it's just a matter of taking this information from both inputs, which is now plugged into the output, and then taking the output and plugging that into our position Z. Watch what happens now as we hit play. Now we'll notice that our ship is moving automatically. if we go to frame 30, we'll find that the ship has moved an exact amount of negative 500 units. Again, we're basically saying when the ship at the first second reaches that frame of 30, which is, again, 1 second, based off of our project settings, we're going to have it move negative 500 units. So that means by